Where have you been? Where have you been? My God, Witness, they've lost. They can lose. They can lose, gentlemen. They bleed. Finally, Witness have lost a LAN event. Finally, Lucky. Tell us the news. What happened?
Say it for the people in the back. 1-0 Turbo Tabs.
Faust. Well, first, welcome, Faust. Welcome. Second of all, Withers lost. They lost to BIGBLOKELAN.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things that is the magic of LAN. You do see sometimes the old boys do get felled. And having had teams like TF2 Easy out of the game for a while, it wasn't something that we thought was going to come around that soon in this competition, you know. But it is a best of one and a 1-0 victory for Big Blokes. You know, they got there in the end, and that is a big opponent who has probably lost a lot of confidence off the back of that.
Lucky. Who do I blame? Is this Hugo's fault? This is Lucas's fault. It's Snakewater. Snakewater's last did this and all this. Was it Piggle's fault? Whose fault?
Oh, it's Snakewater last's fault.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. Looking at the logs and things like that, when you look directly, I think there's only one person that you can look at on that log that had a bit of a shocker. And you've got to sort of maybe put it down to Auto. He ended up with more deaths, 2 drops, and that is the difference maker in a 1-0 a lot of the time. It's that extra point, it's that extra space, it's all the stuff that Piggles likes doing, like screaming at you across 2 booths and he can still hear you.
Oh my God, I just realized. Yeah, they're sharing a room, aren't they? Faust, what's that dynamic like? Obviously, you're here at LAN, you're probably sharing some rooms and all that with other teams. How annoying would it be just to have somebody like, "Way, lads"?
Well, yeah, sharing a room with the Big Blokes at the moment, actually. They were playing this game right behind us, and we could feel the vibes reverberating through the desk as it goes. And I think TF2 is one of those games where the mental is so important and the vibes are so important that a team playing with the confidence that Big Blokes had in that game, they just pulled out the result just on not only their sheer skill and performance, but just Piggles and Mac just absolutely running the show in those comms and those vibes all the way.
Is that it now, Lucky? Has the stock gone up for BIGBLOKELAN? Is it about buy, invest in Mac demo today? Or is this just a fluke?
Well, when you look at sort of the experience that the Piggles Mac team has and you go back along, I don't know if it's a fluke. I mean, these guys have been together for a very long time. They know how they like to play TF2. I feel like maybe that it just comes down to Witness getting maybe complacent. But I've got to say, BIGBLOKELAN have been consistent on this LAN. They've been playing their game, continuing on. The vibes from their team have been very good. I feel like they're just enjoying the LAN buff, you know, like normal with Piggles. I think that going forwards, it's going to be exciting to see sort of like how they perform, especially going into day 2, where they're going to keep that going, whether Piggles is going to hit a Rager tonight. Who knows? He could drink 9 pints, and we won't see him tomorrow.
The power of the pint. Now, Faust, obviously, we're keeping this hype train going, so it means we're going to stick with BIGBLOKELAN. That means, obviously, no choking hazard, I'm afraid, so... yeah, sorry about that, boys and girls. But, you know, BIGBLOKELAN versus phnx are coming up. When you hear this title now and you hear the news that's happened, do you suspect that to be an exciting game?
I think that's going to be an absolutely fantastic game because one of the difficulties in the one that Witness and Big Blokes just played was obviously having that kind of on-paper skill mismatch. But going into this phnx game, you know, both teams on paper, I think people would have put as being able to step up to each other. And it's pretty important to note as well, phnx today have been playing with Sake, who has really stepped up to the mantle in the absence of Brugman, who is an absolutely phenomenal soldier. And the results that phnx have been able to pull out, their games earlier against Witness as well, getting a few rounds, you know, they are an absolute force to be reckoned with. So I think we should be in for a pretty exciting game between the two of them.
Lucky, where do I bet my channel points at this point? Okay, so obviously before I was just going to go with the ETF2L winner, you know, Sake aside. But now I'm not so sure. A BIGBLOKELAN dangerous when they've got off the back of a Witness win, or their ego is going to crush them?
Yeah, I think that the one thing you've got to remember at the end of the day at LAN is that after you finish your game, you're shaking their hand. No matter what you say, how you treat them online, whatever you do, you're going to be shaking their hand at the end of the day. And I feel like when you're shaking Piggles' hand, there's some fear. There's some fear. He is a tall man, you know. But I feel like, you know, Witness, maybe they, like I said before, I think they just got complacent. And that's the end of the day. But phnx have been looking pretty good. Like you mentioned, Seika's been stepping up to the mantle. Whether it has affected them or not, Brugman, you know, has been their driving force in terms of comms and things. Oh, look, we're joined by phnx.
You know
Hello,
what? If you're going to play shenanigans off camera, you can get on the sofa. Yeah, you will back away. Okay.
Hello.
Well, I've managed to fish you, phnx. Hi. Obviously, you probably heard the news, right? Reactions.
That
Point it more. I want to hear your words.
that Witness lost.
Yeah, Witness did lose.
That's we heard that. We were in the room when it happened. We were during the last ant push, and yeah, that's crazy. Mac and Jordy, you know, making the difference.
Did you like get any sort of like details from the game at all? Like, or was it just literally audio you were hearing?
No, we just heard them screaming. They just screamed really loudly. We couldn't hear each other at all.
Now, do you think this actually adds anything, sort of thing? Obviously, you can add another sort of outlook on the matter. Is this just a fluke, or is this like a Witness just not as hot as us casters are making it out to be?
Let's be honest, it doesn't matter at all. You know, group stages. Who cares, man? Who cares?
You really know how to zap the fun out of something, phnx. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. Group. You know, like you play a single map, you can win, you can lose, doesn't matter. What happens tomorrow is what matters, you know?
All right, well, let me pick your brain about this upcoming match. It's going to be BIGBLOKELAN versus phnx. You know, first impressions when you hear these two, is a name pops to your mind, maybe a team that's going to likely take away this?
My bets are on Mac. I think Mac will win.
All right.
It's coming hot from the Witness win, you know? Yeah.
How about you, Faust? If you pass the mic on over to Faust, I want to hear what he has to say about who do you think is going to pop off in a game like this? I know it's Team Fortress 2, but if this was Solo Fortress 2, who's going to be soloing?
I think that QB at LAN events always steps up to the plate, and he showed it last year at poLAN as well, and he's been doing it again at this LAN, that QB he knows his timing to come into these fights, and he is always just finding these frags and making a difference, and really is a difficult guy to play against.
Lucky, I want a name, and I want it to be different to what these two said.
Sail. We like Sail. He's cool.
What is it about this kid? What's so hot about him?
Well, he's fresh off the press, you know. He's one of these newer players entering into Prem and things, and his first LAN, and he's beat Witness.
He's not wrong. He is completely factually correct.
Yeah, I mean, Sail's been playing really well. When we played against him, we were like, God, this guy's like actually nuts. Like he's got some boulder tier aim. You know what I mean?
I think it's worth talking about Sail's trajectory in that I think he
want
won
something wild.
Div 2.
I played a couple of seasons back. You know, just kind of like just have some fun and all this stuff. I started off at low. Sail was in low, a season or two ago, and all this. I technically beat Sail, and then if Sail beats Witness,
I mean the maths does itself, doesn't it?
I mean, I'm like the most impressive person playing at LAN right now. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Obviously, I can't keep you here forever. And I'm pretty sure Piggles is high-fiving everybody right now. He's not in the game. He's not booted up. And I'm not going to keep you here. So I think what we'll do is we'll go to a little break. We'll find Piggles. We'll pin him to his chair. And then we'll get our game of phnx versus BIGBLOKELAN going. We'll see you then.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your final game of day one here at poLANd.tf. I'm joined once again by Ben. Pour liquor into this man's cup in approximately half an hour's time, as we will finally be off and you will finally be out of content for today. But it's only the first of 3 days, Ben, and what an exciting first day it's been.
This has been crazy, and honestly, this day has got even crazier in the past 45 minutes because of the result that just came through. I remember I was like, you know, we're doing the desk from the other game. I was wandering around upstairs, and I hear a bit of rumblings, so I go and investigate the BIGBLOKELAN booth. And I'm going in there as they're winning their round to beat Witness. And it is the loudest room I have been in my entire life. All 6 of them were up, chanting, screaming, fist bumps all round. It was crazy vibes. So for anyone here, I guess, coming to watch the Group A, like a bottom seeds game, like, we're not doing that. BIGBLOKELAN, they are having the time of their lives. So we've switched over to them against phnx.
Yeah, this is a bit of a decider, essentially, right? So Big Bloke season, yet to lose, as we can see on our graphic now. 4 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. Witness Gaming, 4 wins, 0 draws, 1 loss. So if the blokes are able to win this one out, they're going to be top seed. And there's a bit of a story here, I think, is what makes this really interesting and, you know, a bit of a heartfelt story. Is that, you know, this team didn't get into Prem. They lost the Prem qualifiers. They were a bit of a newer team, right? They switched around a lot of roles. Geordie hadn't played the Scouts. Sale coming straight from Div 2, hoping to go Prem. Matt coming back onto Demo Man after a few seasons break. And then grinding themselves through the season to beat, you know, by far our top seed and the best team we have seen so far at this LAN, managing to clinch that one necessary round to take them here all the way to this game. It's just been such an exciting one.
It has been such a story, but also on the other side of things, phnx, like, they're without Bruisman on their first day, right? Which is obviously a big loss, but like they're still playing really well, and Sake's doing such a good job. We saw the game earlier on against Witness. That was like 2-2 for the longest time. They've also won a lot of their other games in this group, right? They're no pushovers.
No.
And even without Bruisman, right, Sake has really stepped into those shoes a lot better than I ever imagined that he could. And they're a real force to be reckoned with, I think, here.
Yeah, you can't count them out, right? We forget to say, but these guys are previous Prem champions just last season, right? Like, they're so experienced, and it's nearly the exact same roster, only Sake coming in for Bruisman here. So it's not going to be an easy game, and I think you have to say this is going to be a tough one for the blokes. They need to try to win it out, and I think we do have some maps coming up here, so we can have a little look on what we're expecting. It looks like it's going to be a process. How do you feel about that one, Ben?
We saw process earlier on for phnnx, and they had a that was the one where they played Witness.
Yeah.
And they, I don't know, like, you put Nevo and QB on process, right? They were running absolutely ragged. They were really taking the game to Witness, and I think they can do the same here. We said before, like, Sale and Jordan are the new players in this team. It's a scout map. Maybe that's more comfortable for them. But if you're looking for players to step up, like, I don't know, I think phnnx looked so good against Witness, and yes, obviously BIGBLOKELAN just beat Witness, but I still think phnnx, like, this is such a good map for them.
I would have to agree. I would say if there was one team that comes out on top, it's definitely this. I mean, it was Snakewater they beat Witness on, and that was banned out pretty quickly from phnnx here, so they obviously know they don't want to go to that. It's a map where you can really slow things down. I think that was kind of their bans that we saw, was those slower maps where you can kind of park the bus a little bit. But instead, we're going to probably the fastest map process, I think.
Yeah.
Last can sometimes get a little slow, but people are always trying stuff as well, right?
Yeah, I have one weird question just before we get the game started, right? So obviously, like, watching what was happening in that BIGBLOKELAN booth, right? This is like the most intense moment of their entire life, right? I wouldn't
go that far.
No, they're on the ceiling in that room, right? They are like absolutely hyped and they are pumped, right? Do you think that helps or hinders them coming into this game?
It absolutely helps, man. From every LAN that I've seen Piggles in, the moment that man starts to get excited and gets hyped up, things just go to like another level. Everyone gets so confident on the team. They're in such a good mood. They're so ready to do well. I think you can worry that they might get a little overconfident, but these players are experienced.
They are, yeah.
They know their limits. They know what they should and shouldn't be doing. And it's not like they're starting to do silly stuff. They're just starting to play with that a little bit more confidence. And I think it's just a huge buff. But the Frenchies here, getting locked in, they can get hyped as well. I've seen some Frenchies comms get pretty excited. And I think if the vibes are good in the Frenchies side, it can be just as much as a buff.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm probably still slightly leaning over towards the BIGBLOKELAN side in terms of winning this. I think, I don't know, I hypothesized the question before. My answer was basically the same as yours in terms of I think these guys, they're so good, right? I think the more pumped they get, like these are all Lanimals, right, on this team. It's
Lanimals?
They are Lanimals,
That's a good one.
They are Lanimals, right? They turn up at LAN, they play their best on LAN. They've got a ton of experience. We saw at Uberfest, a lot of these players in the final. I think they're on such a roll, and like you just can't stop a team when they've got that level of connection.
Yeah, I mean, I think if phnnx had Bruges here, I would go for phnnx for 4 out of 5 times here. But without him, it's just difficult to say because he's such a pivotal character. But I can't say I think Sake has been playing badly. Like, I'm trying to think of like when I've seen him, I'm like, he's been fulfilling his role well. He's been playing really, really solid. So it's a hard one. I think I've got to give it maybe still slightly to the Frenchies, just the experience. And I think this is the Frenchies map if I had to give them a map. And I think, you know, the Blokes is now Snakewater, in my opinion. So what about you, Ben? Any predictions? Are you just going to stick to that
I'm still going slightly towards the Blokes. I think it's going to be close. I don't see them sort of running away and steaming it. I think last time when they beat Witness in the last round as well, like for anyone who's sort of seen the logs for that game, there was round resets in it. They played a very sort of composed style. They turtled it when they needed to. They didn't overpush, didn't overpress, and they were happy to just chill. So perhaps we see a low round game. But I still think we're seeing Big Bloke.
Do you
Big
think
Bloke
that's
Land
gonna work against the Frenchies? Do you think they're gonna allow it to get that
It's
slow?
hard. It's harder on Process, right? Like to do that than on Snake,
Yeah.
where we just saw it. But I think it's not like we saw the game. Well, I say I'm not expecting like the Sunshine from earlier on today, where we had constant back and forth across the map, rounds, Uber pushes happening left, right. I think that we might like be playing a bit more composed and sort of calm.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a crazy, like, 4-4 kind of game where things go really, really fast. I think we're definitely going to see a couple last stalemates. The Frenchies have shown they're quite good at those as well, though, so it's never going to be easy either side that we see things. However, it's enough of the yap here, Ben, as we are looking to go into our final game, maybe? Teams readying up? Teams are readying up here. We are going to be on the Delhi cam here. It is the Frenchies of phnx in the blue. BIGBLOKELAN are in red here. Ben, why don't you take us away?
Here we are on mid-fight number 1 of the final game of the group stage for both of these fabulous teams. BIGBLOKELAN looking to keep hold of this unbeaten run that they are on now. But they get themselves ready either side on this mid-right side so far. For both of these teams, and a lot of damage being taken by these players trying to escape here from phnx, and they're losing. Look how many players they lost here.
Yeah, a bit tragic there. Just seemed like Sake didn't really get to set up for his bomb there. Just got instantly bombed. No way!
What?
You just get that. No one checks it. That's a crazy, crazy pick to come out there. And I was going to say, oh, it looks pretty bad. That was a tragic mid, but that's brought them straight back into it. They're going to have such uber advantage here on the Frenchies. Do they try to push out here? They absolutely do, taking in from lower lobby. It looks like Mac's got to put in a lot of spam. If it's just a single scout through alone being baited by his team, they want to try to get him for free, but this is so hard here. This scout just doing so much. Nevo staying alive. Mac is trying all he can to try to make sure they don't get him for free. However, it looks like they pretty much are Sake, the only player going to go down. However, it looks like Left or Bloke here is coming in for something. Can he find anything? He cannot. He finds an air shot from King Delhi here, looking to keep that King name strong here. But it's another soldier bombing in here. They do get Delhi coming in. Nice stickies from Mac. Warp's going down. They want to keep pressing on from the Frenchies. This is not enough for them to back out.
No, absolutely not. As now mid being taken up by phnx. They're down a demo. It's 1-for-1, but the Uber ad still sitting slightly in their favor. As now they're trying to hold on. They're trying to get themselves in some kind of position. They're just trying to chill it out. Just chill.
Just having just a soldier count so his scouts can stay on high ground. That's how slow we saw things. But that's really, really nice from the Frenchies to basically go from your last to capping mid. It's basically like the round has restarted here a little bit. But most medics were alive here. Now we're going to start seeing the pressure. It looks like they want to try to take it Seward here. Notoriously, you can send a lot of spam when you come in from the Seward side, which is usually very good. Warm's denying a lot of that early space. That's going to slow them down a little bit, not allow them to get in. But look at this space you could be taking top IT here.
They've got a lot of it. They've got a lot of it already, haven't they? As Demul getting ready, trying to poke and prod, trying to get that damage onto Warps, who's actually just going to jump away back to the rest of the team here over on phnx. Big Bomb comes in from Demul, does get a lot of damage, but nothing else.
Yeah, really nice rocket onto the medic there. Take two players down quite low. I think if they actually like carried on forward there, they would have just won that fight straight up. It's kind of hard sometimes to say to your team, oh, I've just done 1 million damage. Please, please, please get in, right? If they knew 3 players were that low, I think it's a push, but it's always hard to make that decision, especially in a game this tense. But this is where the blokes are happy, right? They're happy slowing things down. In that Witness game, 2 round resets means you really had to slow things down throughout the entire time. Now it's just the Frenchies' turn once again to pick and prod. It does look like Demul up on the sniper, and he is a force to be reckoned with. So they got to be a little bit careful where they poke their little heads here on the blokes.
They absolutely do, as now peeking in through the show. All right.
Big headshots coming up from the Demul here. Can he find anything else, or is the pressure just enough? It is, but they get a force here. It's going to be a trade overall, but it doesn't look too bad for the Frenchies if they can kind of reset things. It's kind of just going to be a firing range here for Demul as he gets another headshot onto left. This scout is so low as well, taken down to minuscule HPs. Can't quite find that kill, but surely they'll be able to chase as they do manage to take down 3
Look how many
players here.
kills, though.
Yeah, Mac is only just up now. If they just kind of chariot this to last, this could be massive.
This could be absolutely huge for the French side.
Whoa.
Oh, big damage coming in though from Mac, trying to do what he can to hold the line, but it's going to be a tough line to hold, but there's so few players alive. Look, there's still only 2 players here up for BIGBLOKELAN, and the spawners are just too slow.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do there when you've got 5 players running into you on that last point. Mac did pretty much as much as he can, and this is just the round-winning play, right? Just so cheeky, you just don't expect someone to go for a play just standing in top IT. Demul, MVP of that round, in my opinion. phnx, bringing up that first round in just under 5 minutes. The blokes now, they've got to be sweating a little bit.
After losing the mid as well, let me say, that was such a rough scenario, because we saw BIGBLOKELAN, if that kill doesn't come through, they're in on second, capping second with even Ubers into last. But we could be sat here still in a stalemate over on phnx's last, but as it is, phnx 1 round up. Nice little start for them, and a nice start to this second mid fight as well, as they get the first kill over onto Sale. And look at this pressure they've got here. Mac's already gone down, and players already retreating their ways back out onto the second point.
Yeah, your scout and demo man down. You're going to struggle really to hold onto this unless your soldiers can go huge there. Early bombs come in, but they're just not enough, really. It is actually Jordy managing to get a pick, so opening things up, especially the spawns are coming in straight onto the medic here, taking down Solo.
Look how
it's
weak.
Mula, but he manages to get the Mula moves and live.
20 HP, how on earth? Just one little chip shot from a scattergun could have been enough there to catch the retreating medic, but it's not going to be found, and Mula lives to fight another day. Delhi, on the other hand, was taken down in that little excursion, which means that they're going to be without a demo for the remainder of this fight. Pickaxe attempt from Warp nearly finds that one there onto Demo, as Ubers are traded out on the middle point.
Yeah, they are here. Nice rockets there to get Mac during this trade. Was not expecting a soldier to get up in his face. Now it's looking good for the Frenchies, but there's a bomb coming in onto Mula here. Can he find a connecting shot? He cannot. Unfortunately, nice defense by the French scout duo to shut things down. It's just one straggler of Jordy in the back here, but he is not a worry to them, as the French chariot will continue on its way. Gonna cap that second point and surely try to put in a little bit of pressure into last while Ubers are not in play.
Trying to get themselves in some space on the second point. Jordy getting pincered out of this, so 1 player down. Does this make this might make a bit of a difference, right? There's 13 seconds on that respawn, and time to get in. Sale's still trying to get the gun set up, and the setup is kind of not really there yet. Uber not there either, and phnx, they want to take the opportunity and send Sax in early.
Yeah, it's absolutely what they need to do, but they don't really have any vision. They should be getting this gun, but they're going to trade 1 for 1 during it, and it means they get that player of Jordy up, and they're still really struggling to get this gun during all of this. Do finally get it. Now it should be sack attempt time. They have just spotted this medic out, but Delhi is just coming in. Soldier bombs are in, and it's a force straight
really nice.
away onto Piggles. There was no way he was going to hold that in that position. Oh, but he might get Delhi here.
Oh, Delhi 30 HP, doesn't take damage on the landing, which is nice, but on the other hand, the combo taking a lot of damage here over in IT. Gonna have to back up and out of the second point for now. But phnx getting their spawners in. I don't believe anyone got denied forwards. Maybe 1 player got denied forward spawns, I think, a soldier in the distance, but they, even with 1 player down, happy to start walking this one in. They want to be in on that last point with at least maybe 30% add before they can think about pushing it in all the way. We can see Dino taking space in top IT, the combo going 1, and they look ready to use it already.
Yeah, absolutely. Uber is used off straight away. It's Delhi jumping into this heaven area, putting some damage down onto Warped. He's forced down there. Now they have all the high ground, but they have not dealt with this sentry gun, so they can't play the point straight away. And Mac also has the other spawn locked down here. 2 picks do go towards the way of the Frenchies. The sentry gun does finally go down here, but Mac still being a thorn in their side. Piggles gets Uber during all this as well. And look at this. They might even lose Mula. He's just being petted onto last.
They're losing everyone at this point. They're losing absolutely damn everyone. Mula, are we sure he's getting petted? Are we sure? Are we sure about this? He's getting chased all the way. Mula, the escape artist.
How does he do that? He may be the second coming of Houdini here, managing to get out of that fight when he absolutely should not have. And now this gives another opportunity for them to kind of fight in. Look like Demul tried to go in good damage onto the medic there, taken down very low from an arrow. Will heal back up now, though, however. And it looks like things going to reset a little bit. We can take a little chill pill. BIGBLOKELAN have managed to take this second point back for themselves. But they want to be getting onto mid, right? They need to kind of be making a little bit of work, but this is It's such a hard one to push straight onto mid, right? There's so many places your medic can be, but actually it looks like Forfence, they want to keep playing this fast game. They want to keep trying to go in, going for these plays, trying to get these forces. And it's been working out pretty well for them so far.
Yeah, it's been good so far, and it's been good amounts of damage. And again, they're not losing too much, but it's giving BIGBLOKELAN even any chance at all to get off their own half of the map. We can see Delhi already, the one walking forward, the one trying to take as much ground as possible here, trying to dish out the damage over towards the defending BIGBLOKELAN players. But it's Demo the first one to go down. QB going to trade out 1-for-1 on the flank, which honestly might just work in Forfence's favour as they're able to walk up. One player less opens up some space, and they decide to just take the trade.
Yeah, I think this is a decent trade, especially if you can get a play in a little bit further into the flank here. It's not bad. Oh, it's not even a trade, sorry. Pickles hasn't even used.
I assumed it was going to be a trade because I saw a scout running straight into Pickles' face, but no, apparently not.
Great for the blokes here as they do keep that Uber. Should be able to push onto mid with this fairly freely, right? There's a soldier who can bomb, there's good spam, but most of the time your scouts can kind of just get the space, and the threat of a demo jumping in the Uber is usually enough to send these teams back. But it looks like a soldier wants to come in for a bomb onto Mula. Should get the force here. Yeah, he would have died. Good use there from Mula. Nice shot from the Sake, managing to get them to use. And they want to come straight back in on the Frenchies because there's such a good bomb coming in from Demul. Takes down 2 easily. Takes this soldier down to low HP. Does the combo. It is warped going down. Lone survivor here on this middle point is going to be Sale. Somehow gets Delhi. Nice from him. And Jordy also gets QB in the background.
Maybe
so actually could be worse.
Picks. These are important picks, actually. They really slow down this roll forward. But with Jordy going down, Uber Ad is going to be there. They're going to be waiting a bit of time before their demo man Delhi is back in the fight, and QB as well for that matter. So it's maybe not going to be an instant push, but like it's still going to be tough to get a gun up, right?
Look at that Uber advantage. It's
and
still going to be like
50. The gun's only level 1 as well, right? Like this time.
Yeah, makes things extra hard, and if there is a push to win here for Forfence, it's got to be this one. It's been about 15 minutes since, no, sorry, it's only been 5 minutes. I was going to say that time flew by here. It looks like they are going to push him through 4 here, Ben.
They're in already. Gun taken down on that right-hand side. Attention now rotated towards the left spawn. Can they get the damage? The soldiers jumping in straight away, warped instantly, trying to catch Delhi in this post too. But look at the damage towards his right spawn door we're seeing on our screens from Delhi. Going to be only 4 players left alive. No heals, no buffs for the remaining BIGBLOKELAN players now. So we can just see some circling, some spiraling, trying to get players off this point. But with the heavy going down, Mac, the only one able to get any kind of slam at this point. It's maybe 2-0. Forfence, they're running away with it.
Yeah, with that much Uber advantage and just getting a couple of picks early, it's only a matter of time. They just kind of took it slow, took their time, did some focus fire onto that heavy, and took things home for the Frenchies there. 2 rounds already, and well, it's been 12 minutes. They're looking pretty strong so far. They're managing to speed up this game pretty significantly on the Frenchies thus far. I think the game plan of slowing things down not working so well for the blokes.
Yeah, and a bit of a, speaking of slow down, a bit of a slow rollout there from Max. Going to have to play this one passive. Delhi wasn't quite aware of it and has just put up some passive traps of his own. So we might be seeing a bit of a slower affair on this mid. The last couple of times it's been gone very much the way of Forfence in these post mids. BIGBLOKELAN going to be doing a good amount of damage there up towards Sake. But the frags this time are actually going BIGBLOKELAN's favour.
Yeah, this is nice from the blokes, not losing a single player for the free of the Frenchies. The only silver lining is that Mula has lived during all this. They lose Delhi, however, which might just be enough for them to try to send things in, right? There's going to be nothing on point. You can pressure point while pressuring a sack. Can be really strong here as they're already in last, taking it in through 1 and taking that high ground straight away. Such an advantageous position.
Yeah, look at this situation they're in now. They're already looking out the spawn. They're already ready to try and collapse anything on this left-hand side, but Jordy going down is not maybe the start they were after. Going to just turn it into some kind of impromptu sack as they send warped in also.
Yeah, not the best in the world. I kind of hoped they would take a little more space from that top height and like pressure and pincer from all different angles, but they weren't really able to in the end. The Frenchies look like they want to try to take this second point, but it's going to be instantly contested here from the blokes here. There's absolutely no reason they should give it up for free, and they look like they don't want to. Use the Uber first, but quickly traded out by the Frenchies once again, but they're getting players in behind here on the blokes.
Look at this Uber.
A weird situation. Oh my god, Jordan's going deep.
Gone incredibly deep. Got Pickles killed in the meantime, but did a heck of a lot of damage there onto the combo of Forfence. Mula goes down 2. Only 2 players left alive, but the corners will be there in time to at least get some kind of defense on last. Nevo trying to play it funny, seeing if anyone's interested in rushing last quickly, but it doesn't seem like BIGBLOKELAN are too interested, right? They want to just sit it out, they want to chill on second, wait for their spawners, and just play the even Ubers.
Yeah, there's no reason to do anything crazy, I think, here. I think you can still find the opportunity. You've got second, you're coming into this last. Should be on even Ubers here. You can probably try to find a way to get a sack in. We've seen this is not an impenetrable fortress, this last hold, especially if you have a competent sniper, which both teams absolutely do here. Gun is going down early. This is a big opportunity. Cell is in a decent position to do something if he wants to, but I think it's probably going to be a soldier going for something. They're just playing the spam game, though. They're playing it slow, just trying to get this space, getting left up in above here. However, focus down early here. Warp in, gets 2 picks and a third coming in from Delhi as well. Warped is living. They're crushing themselves onto point here. Uber comes out, and it looks like Mula does not have here. They can just start playing players on the point. It's QB going down. It's just Mula. Big blokes are trying to get themselves back in it, bringing us to a 2-1 in a steaming fashion.
So I called there that it would be even Ubers. And
yeah, they
it
didn't build
should
well
have
at
been roughly, I say even, right? It should have been about 10 ad, I think, as of Mula coming up, but like they had about what 30 ad by the time. Look, 67% here when the Uber's ready. It's just bad building.
Yeah, essentially, right. They didn't expect them to go off such a tiny margin, but really, really well played from the blokes here. We'll see if they can have a repeat on this mid here to try to keep themselves in this game. So far, the Frenchies have been looking pretty strong on their bombs here. So we'll see if they change anything up. Looks like both teams are going to be taking this left-hand side. Early bombs come from the Frenchies, sending damage in from each direction. Actually, they're rotating to the right. It's the early bomb in from Warped. He gets absolutely nothing. So much high ground taken by these red scouts here, but they are managing to kind of coalesce a little bit here. It looks like the Frenchies winning this one out once again. They're just kind of playing their bombs a little bit better, I feel like, Ben.
They are, absolutely, and again, another success for them this time as they're now walking their way forward. They're trying to take ground onto mid, maybe some ground to second as well. With no demo, it might be a bit tough to hang onto this ground, and Mac is aware of this, and Mac is already trying to will the troops forward here onto the second point, but decides, you know what, the spawners are here in time, Ubers are up, he doesn't want to risk it.
Yeah, it's really not enough to go off there. I mean, you had a soldier who was ready to absolutely collapse on them. It would have been a calamity of a fight, so the correct decision to go back here. Kubi will be coming up on the sniper. It's going to be faced down in that SVS by Sail here. I don't know if I've seen Sail snipe that much so far this land, so I'll be interested to see how he fares here. We've seen Kubi so far, and he's been pretty insane.
QB's lethal on sniper. Yeah. QB is so damn good at this class. And again, just going to be posted up, trying to see if anyone's pushing aggressive. They're not taking any space in the lobby as of yet. But like we said before, the main angle is this one in through 3 or perhaps through 4 or 5. And seems like number 3 is going to be the first port of call here for QB, who peeks and hits the shot instantly onto Sail. Yeah,
1-0 for him. Already looking into 5, seeing if he can find the soldier. 150 onto him, followed up by Delhi. That is left down, and now it is his for the taking here. He just needs to find some shots, or they need to find the sentry gun and send a soldier in. The force does come out there. It's Piggles using, so no Uber for the blokes. Kubi might even be able to go back into spawn here while this soldier comes up.
Oh, absolutely. The timing's perfect, right? 6, another 10 seconds away, be able to run back, get that respawn in. Piggles on the crits is like the one thing that might put a bit of a push on this, because we can see QB still waiting to get in this spawn door. Piggles already 30% on the crits. Might be a bit touch and go in terms of whether or not the laser beams can come up, but that is always a hope in the back of the minds of BIGBLOKELAN here.
Yeah, it might come up to about 80% here from the looks of things, so could absolutely get it during all this, but that doesn't matter because the Uber is coming in here and you're not invulnerable during this whole time, whereas the other team are. Nice double air shots by Delhi there to start us off here, and there's not really anyone in a good position to contest this high ground. The heavy does come out, but he's going to be surely focused down here, still has to resub, and look at this cap time already coming out on the point, and fourth bringing it to a 3rd round, looking super dominant with that sniper play.
Just a second too late there with the laser beams. They weren't quite in time. And yeah, that means it's going to be 3 rounds to the good for Forfens. What a showing it's been with them, honestly. And we saw again, Sake, they're doing great work in getting that force onto Piggles. A great coordinator there from the whole team, to be honest. Spamming out the gun, getting those picks. Good snipe from QB as well. Like, such textbook play.
Yeah, it feels like Sake is kind of feeling himself in this team a little bit more than he previously was in our early games. He's really started to show up His mids have been pretty decent. His last have been pretty good. Aggression at the right time here. It's going to be a big rotate mid. Both teams just going to be flowing around this point until they see an opportunity to go for a bomb. Someone overextended, underextended, whatever it may be. Mac is that overextender alone on the point here. Bombs coming in from both sides though. Warped in deep here. So low.
Ooh.
Does manage to follow up with Jordi there to manage to get Mula. But now it's all good. Pickles on his own side, only on 80% Uber. Takes a lot of spam rockets as well. It's going to make things very difficult as they're getting so much cap time here on the side of Forfent. And once they get this cap, they can maybe just try to take things forward as it's the other way here. Pickles 95 on this Uber, but they have capped the point. So it's not going to be able to do much. Maybe they get the recap, but maybe they get forced by these players coming in. It's an absolute sleuth of players coming for Pickles here, but he holds strong. He hits the surf, and no way is this man using. They need this Uber advantage on the side of the blokes.
Dangerous moments there for Pickles. Players on multiple sides able to just keep his nerve, keep his cool, and hang on to this Uber advantage, because in this situation they're down in space in the map, and they were also down on players. It was the only thing they really had going for them. But now the spawners are in, they can play this one just as they would wish here. But actually, I say that, yeah, Forfents, they're just giving this completely. They don't want anything to do with the second point, and they're just going to play for their own Uber last, which is still, let it be known, quite a big way away.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be getting, as they do use it instantly from 4 here. Mac going to instantly take down that central gun. They're going to be rotating to this left-hand side, but there's a heavy up top who's going to contest here. Mac taking down scarily low, but enough damage to force them out here. However, the first pick is onto Bloke, but the damage is huge. Deli, huge defense here. Heavy staying alive as well. Will send the rest of the blokes packing. Just no one really able to get onto that high ground to contest early enough. I think if they had the pincer, one on the right-hand side, and then Max spamming as well, they absolutely take that. But for now, it's going to be the Frenchies peeking out onto second, seeing what they can find. They do have the Uber advantage here.
There was damage, but there was no frags. The damage was great on that Uber, but they just didn't find enough kills. Like, it's simple as that. And as soon as the Uber faded, yes, there's weak players, but the Forfents team, they have a resupply locker they can just use. And yeah, they just hit their resupply binds, and they all get out good and alive. And now they're the ones using in onto this middle point, forcing out the BIGBLOKELAN players out towards their own second point. And we might get into a bit of a seesaw action here as BIGBLOKELAN, they have an ad now, they're coming in. And actually, Forfents, I say seesaw, they haven't actually managed to cap them in.
No, not quite yet. There's a scout valiantly attempting to, though. They do use the Uber here. Going to be jumping Mac in. Can potentially catch a medic here. It's a good opportunity here. Dodging and diving is Mula, but he will be taken down here. That's really, really nice. Now, no heals, and they're pretty healthy here. If they wanted to keep chasing, they can slow things down as they do lose Sal. That's a second player. But it looks like the side of Forfents, they want to keep fighting, sending 2 players in from IT. Taking this high ground is Demul in. Unk, has he still got it? Does take down the medic here. Huge stuff here from the side of the Forfents soldier.
You asked if he still got it. Was it even a question?
No.
Of course, Demul still got it. Legend of the game. Still absolutely up there with that really nice frag over onto Pickles. But the unfortunate part about that play is that it wasn't just Demul that died.
No.
Basically, everyone else except Mula died. But then Mula had no one to heal, so the ad's only like 30%.
It's not bad though, right? It slows the game down, which I think is a really big thing here for Forfents, right? They're now quite happy to sit on their last and do absolutely nothing. Just defend it. Just send out some pop shots, hold some doors, put some stickies down. No reason to rush stuff. You're 2 rounds up with 8 minutes remaining. You can reset it twice, technically, right? And it's good. And like Mac goes down, this is going to be another 30 seconds or so on the clock before they can do anything.
Absolutely, and they may as well just sit back. Like you say, the timer works absolutely into Forfents' favour. They've got their sniper, they've got their gun. Mac in the respawn queue denies another 30 or so seconds. By the time that he's rotated in, they buff people up, taking space in lobby again. And the timer, like, maybe it's not a massive issue now, but give it 2 or 3 minutes and BIGBLOKELAN have been looking at the top of their screens.
Yeah, that clock ticks down tremendously fast here. Looks like we're going to have Nevo sniping. He's not going to have any competition on the side of the blokes here. They're going to keep it cookie cutter for now. 2 of the soldiers and scouts here, so no one feeling themselves too much. They're just going to send in a double bomb here. It is going to be left and walked in. Managed to drop him. That's big.
Massive drop. 2 kills for the gun, but that's a huge, huge play coming in from these 2 soldiers. We said before the coordination from Forfents getting onto Pickles was good earlier on, but that's even better. Like, it's a clean drop.
Yeah, but now they have their crux. They need to push into this last successfully. They struggled last time. Let's see if they can do a little bit better on this time around. I think if they manage to get some players into height here, it could be all over, but there's a Heavy just hiding away.
There's 4 crits on QB as well. I wonder if that's going to come into play.
Yeah, we'll have to see as the Uber is used. Sentry gun taken down early here. Trapping out this right-hand door is Mac. Everyone rotating over to this left side is exactly where the players are. It looks like QB does manage to get 1 pick, gets 2 picks, gets 3 picks on the engineer. Oh, come on, QB. Farm them up here. It's just 2 alive, Cell and Piggles, and there's surely nothing he can do here. Gets 1 pick, but piped by Deli there, and it's another beef push. Piggles gets out, but what does that really matter?
Frontier Justice, man, like it's such a crazy weapon, and I'm not gonna say that that won them the push. I think if he's just on scout, he probably still gets all those kills anyway. But it's a scary thing to be walking into, and it's a scary thing now. If you're trying to push out on the phnx side, they're getting forced, losing 2 players for the price of 1. BIGBLOKELAN have to leave for a moment, but they haven't capped second. They haven't got out.
No, they haven't. This is really, really good. Now, there are enough players down where they can't really do too much here on the Blokes, but it means that they have 1 less hurdle to go over, right? The Ubers is going to be an advantage for the Blokes once again, and they need to make this one count. They need to do something slightly different because these last 2 pushes have not been in their favor. They've been a little bit tragic, and with only 5 minutes remaining, they need to get minimum 2 rounds, right? Got to make it happen here, otherwise it could be a draw all the way to the top, and then I think it even goes the way of Witness here. So we'll see what they can do. They use the Uber in straight away onto this right-hand side, Mac locking things down once again, but it's kind of, you know, doing the same thing. Knife bombing from the Soldier actually this time might make things a little bit different. They do manage to get 1 pick, get 2 picks on sale here as well here, but this Heavy, he's just such a menace up in this high ground. There's just absolutely nothing they've been able to do against him.
They did a lot of damage to the Heavy, but the Heavy has a lot of health, and it has even more health than he took damage, so it's not going to be enough. Getting constantly tanked with arrows, and the Heavy lives to fight on another day, and so do a lot of key players hiding up in that panic room. And phnx again holds strong once more.
Yeah, and they are pushing straight onto this mid here. They don't want to slow things down. They want to take this. They want to make it hard for the Blokes to try to get back into this game. Sake with a big bomb in. Can he find anything? Makes the rest of the team go away. However, it is going to be an Uber use. Geordie down. That is 2 down now for the side of the Blokes. Piggles does not have his Uber charge, about 70%. It's about 12 seconds in the bank that they have to play with. If they can slow things down here, Piggles can get his Uber and maybe get a bit of an upset coming out.
Really trying to go for it now. There's going to be not long left before this Uber charge is ready, but not a lot of health left for Piggles, who is left running all the way back through 1. Going to re-engage through 2 with the Uber, with players, and with control of the second point. phnx on the back foot now, retreating away. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play as phnx try and hang on to their 2-round lead. It's going to be Uber charge at any moment now for Piggles, who currently just hiding behind the rock, scared to move forward, and whilst he's here, the team are just getting no benefit from this, and he gets forced regardless.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that play necessarily. I think you do know there's going to be a soldier, but at least you, like, maybe you know you're going to get that 1 player who's now in behind. But, like, he's making so much time during all of this that it's just not, you know, a great play in the end, and it's just Sake. He's going to be such an issue this entire time. Nevo going down might make things a little harder. He finds a scout here, 182 exactly. Takes down Geordie. Nice rockets from Sake to make things just a little more difficult.
And the thing is, over this trade of players coming in, now maybe there's even more of an opportunity to walk in with this Uber advantage for phnx as they're trying to burst their way through choke, ideally without using, but it's a choke point. It's going to be tough to get in absolutely for free. But the thing is worth a go. They're walking in, bombing in, trying to get a kill onto Warped, and maybe trying to go even further.
Yeah, it's working so far. Got in absolutely for free there. Piggle's already on 80% Uber here. But with only 2 minutes remaining, it's all on the Blokes to try to make something happen, make it work. But the Frenchies, they just like to press W. That's all I know is these French players like hitting the W key, like going for these pressure plays, like keeping things thick and fast here. And yeah, it's on the side of the Blokes to do something as they are bringing Geordie in behind here. This is the Swedish play I've seen before. They just like sending the players in behind. But actually, they're going to try to go for the back cap. This could work.
There's a lot of players in this point, and it's a race. Who's going to cap out first? It looks like the cap on second is going to win it out. And this is the punishment, right? If you go for the back cap play and it doesn't work out, well, the last point caps very quickly on most of these maps, and it will do here as well. phnx 4 rounds ahead, and that's going to be GG's. 1 minute 30 to play, but not enough time for a comeback.
Yeah, unfortunately not there. Longer rounds coming out in the end of things, but unfortunately does go the way of the Frenchies. I think throughout this day they've started looking a lot better. I think at the start they looked a little shaky, weren't quite doing as well as expected, got a couple of draws that maybe they didn't want to, but actually I have to say now they've started to look really, really nice during all this, and if they can bring this form for the next couple of days, they have, I would say, a decent chance of winning this. We have to remind people that this Big Bloke team did just beat Witness previously to this game. That's why we are covering it, because if they won it, they were going to be the team on the top of the tables here, and fourFNx have kind of looked in control throughout this entire game.
Yeah, there's still a little bit left to play. Still, I guess, technically time for a round as we're in this last mid-fight still, but it's getting scrappy, it's getting messy. Everyone's sort of playing it as if it's garbage time, flying in. BIGBLOKELAN coming off for the worst, as QB's got 3 kills, I count that, on the final mid. So nice little flurry for the logs there at the end. And maybe time for a 5th round to settle this one down, I guess.
And they might want to try to go for a 5th here, as there's 20 seconds remaining in the game for this one. See what they can do, see if they can make this a 5-1, as it's 15 seconds remaining. Uber is in on to last. There's a spy of Jordy. Can he deny things? Gets the Uber flash. How tragic is that? But now someone has to stand on point. They get enough players, and they bring it to a tragic-looking 5-1 on the logs there for fourFNx. They were just the team to beat. They just look better. That's all it was.
They absolutely did. And the last pushes in particular, right, is like, that could have been a lot of a different game, right? At 3-1, it was in the balance for a while. But yeah, it just wasn't there for BIGBLOKELAN. Maybe the hype wasn't all it was meant to be after that game against Witness.
Hey, you can't win them all. But they put in a valiant effort, and I still think, they're coming 3rd in the table, something like that?
2nd or 3rd,
Second
I'm
or
not sure,
3rd.
yeah.
So yeah, pretty solid overall there. Can't complain at all. Gives you a really good seeding coming into those upper bracket games tomorrow. But Ben, it looks like we have some people on the casting couch.
I think we are. I think we're good to throw over to our wonderful host Turbo and the gang. We might have some interviews as well, so we'll send it straight over there.
Welcome back to the analytical couch. I have got a piece of Mandem with me this time round. I've got Inso from Mandem, and I've also got ronz from Mandem. Gentlemen, first off, thank you for joining me on the analytical couch. And second of all, Inso, obviously you were playing some games, but you caught a bit of tail end of this game, and that's why I grabbed you here. Was it always meant to be a fourFNx victory here against the BIGBLOKELAN, or do you think, like, BIGBLOKELAN, they're looking hot right now?
Yeah, pretty much. I think Mac team are very defensive in the way they play. You can find a lot of opportunities to get sacks in and like take chances. So if people take them right, then you can exploit a lot, which fourFNx did. It started off pretty slow, but at the end of the day, it's round after round after round, and they built momentum, and you force enemy team to push, you win more rounds. It's pretty easy and so.
Now, ronz, you're one of the privileged people here that actually understood what all those Frenchies were saying to each other during the mix of that. I'm going to, if I could borrow the mic away from Inso for a moment and grab, is there any sort of juicy details? Can you maybe tell me what the comms are like for those boys in a stressful game like that?
I mean, I know for a fact, they don't have Bergman, so the comms are really different. It's more like Mula is calling a lot. Mula is actually like one of the meds that calls the most in Prem, probably. Also, Nivo obviously calls a lot. I think it has been working quite well for them. I think they're getting better with it. And yeah, this game was basically like really back and forth, but it's just that like Mac, they beefed so many last pushes on process that just they couldn't do it, I think just Frenchies were too good at holding last, basically.
I know you brought up Inso. Obviously, you brought up the point about Brugman. If you take the mic away for one moment, and basically, obviously, you're right. Brugman was missing, but Brugman's going to be coming in tomorrow, and he's not going to be warmed up. Is that a big deal for you players? Like, can you go into a game rather cold and still play well, or is this going to be like a weakened Brugman we're seeing?
The Frenchies played for a while, so like they know each other, they know their strats, they know everything. Brugman's also the main caller, so they're going to just play better from what they did today. But I think not playing a single game of LAN and coming straight into playoffs can have effects. People have momentum from previous days, and I don't think he's going to catch up that quickly. But I think after their first game, they're going to start rolling. I think ronz have a snowball effect. If they start winning, they keep on winning.
Magical, magical. And ronz, obviously, it's been a long day here, a longest day of group stages. Obviously, you probably came into it with some expectations. Is there anything that surprised you today, or anything maybe from your own sort of performances today on Mandem?
I don't know. I think I'm surprised we played this well. I don't know. I think our group was easier, honestly, because a team like Mac is a big wild card, you know, in groups. And I think, yeah, ronz group was harder, but I think we still showed up. We still played great. So I don't know. I think tomorrow is going to be really interesting. Yeah.
And so have you got any sort of people you got your eye on now? You're like, my God, this player is on fire this LAN.
I'm trying to think of any like key players. On our side of the brackets, like group stages, we didn't really have teams that were like rolling, like a single player that was just popping off. But if I'm like having to name one from the like opposite groups that we may have watched,
you can say yourself if you really. Do you think you've had a popping off?
I don't think myself. I
Damn,
think Boulder.
Is everyone just like having a mediocre, like, you know what, they're putting the work in, that's it, it's okay.
I think Boulder's having a very good LAN so far.
Yeah, strong.
ronz of course is like clear as like first place as well. Right?
Ron's your opinion,
I think Ryan like is still playing insanely well. Like considering his team, like you can feel it's dysfunctional because they don't have pandemic, but he's still playing super well. And also I think for my group, who was else? I think Samakot played pretty well, honestly. They were pretty solid, not making a lot of mistakes, honestly.
It's good. It's been a great LAN. Now, keep in mind, boys, that's only been day one. You've obviously got day two coming up. I've got, we've got the standings here. This is going to show the implications where you've landed after all your little games. And despite Witness losing a game, they're still at the tippity top with 15 points, followed by BIGBLOKELAN, who are obviously going to feel those points they've stolen away from Witness. And then ronz are meeting them right there. I'm probably going to have to get some tiebreakers involved and figure things out, but that does mean Venom Crest have only just managed to get that fourth seed. Do you guys actually, like, inso, do you care about this stuff? Do you actually, like, tally up, like, oh my God, okay, Venom Crest is fourth, that means we're going to maybe play them, or do you guys, like, not care about that stuff?
I mean, looking at the LAN, I think coming into it, it was mainly, like, us against ronz who manages to reach final against Witness. That's, like, the so-called, like, foreseeable future, but before this game happened, we saw ronz fourth place, and we had like, oh wait, what? We're gonna play ronz tomorrow, first round. I don't think we fear anyone. I don't think like there's anyone we like are scared to play. I think we're feeling very confident coming into it. Again, it's just like super chill at the moment, not fearing anyone.
ronz. It's going back to a best of three now. No sort of lucky, breaks on best of one sort of territory. It's best of threes, I should say. Sorry. And King of the Hill is back. Are these two big things? Are they going to change the scope of TF2? Are you going to see a lot more like, I don't know, less flukes or this, or is it still quite a wild card, wild TF2 out there?
I mean, I think LAN is always super different compared to offline. Because compared to online, because the thing is, people play more, I would say, aggressively. They play different. I think there's more openings. People are stressed. There's like people behind you and things. And if you're not used to it, you can really, crumble. So I think it's going to be really interesting. And yeah, additions of cost maps is going to change a lot in terms of drafts.
Magical. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you to Mandem, obviously. Thank you to inso. Thank you to ronz. And obviously, these are the standings of the other group as well, just to kind of keep things in mind. So obviously, we say goodbye to Velo Gaming there. We're not going to see them. They're completely eliminated. And then you're going to have everyone fall into the upper brackets and the lower brackets and all that. But otherwise, that's been day one. So we're going to say goodbye to you guys over at Twitch chat. We're going to get absolutely slain drunk at the bar, and we're somehow going to put ourselves back together again and see you tomorrow for day two in our double bracket system. We'll see you then.